Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader at TechTrader.com. It's Tuesday night, August the 2nd, and these are the charts of the day. Well, it was a difficult day on Wall Street with a very nasty slide in the morning. They did bring back the market, still finished lower, but I'm not enamored with that rally. I think that there's still a possibility that if we don't follow through with that rally and roll over, that we're going perhaps substantially lower in the next few days. We'll see. I'm going to go over some longs and shorts as a result. Stock that we like that's looking really good suddenly is ADXS. On the deal with Amgen today, they exploded this stock 31%, traded 6.4 million, the biggest we've seen in quite a while, and it broke out of the base, declining tops line, moving averages, everything in one fell swoop today. My near-term targets are a test of the 12.90-13 range, and then the 14.5 3/4 zone. Beyond that, if it makes a run and it's a real important move for it, that initiates a new uptrend, perhaps down the road we can see something in the low 20s. But for now, 13 and 15. And there's 12.9 days to cover, nearly 13 days. That should push things. Xencor technology with a big day today exploded. Now it got to the top of the channel and backed off. It didn't close particularly well. It got up as high as 780, closed 730, still up 85 cents or 13% on 6 3/4 million. One of the biggest volumes we've ever seen in that stock. So this breaks the base. What I'm looking for to see if it consolidates for a day or two and then runs again. I got a short-term target at 8 and then 9. There's 5.5 days to cover on that. Well, Amarin's been really pushing it. And if you can see the last 4 days in a row, we've moved from about 220 all the way up to 320. And so a 50% move. Looking at the longer-term picture, you can see a massive inverse head and shoulders type or rounding bottom base. The key resistance, I think, is going to be the early 2015 spike high at 333. We may test that tomorrow. If we get through that, there's pretty clear ceiling all the way up to near 5. This could be interesting. 16.3 days to cover. We may see a spike on it. Big day for Avon products. Looks like it completed this declining little 3-wave corrective pullback. And at this point, it looks to me like the double bottom here, breakout, and then pullback has been completed. And perhaps a new rising channel could be underway. At this point, I'm going to look at a move up into the 7 3/4 range. Maybe ultimately we can get that stock to move even further than that, near the 8.5 or 9 zone up here. So this stock has a potential of doubling, but I want to see the follow through. It was a big day, 28 million shares. Didn't quite break out. We need to get it through the, let's call it 5 1/4 range. Once that gets through 5 1/4, we could see a quick move towards 6.5, 7. 4.5 days to cover on that one. Well, Beat is having a good time of it. They had a good report after hours. The stock moved up a little bit even more. You can see that the long-term trend has been terrific. It's had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave is well underway. But we may end up pushing it a little bit higher into the 23 range. 22, 23, my short-term target. Carbonite, big pop today. And when you look at the overall trend, the downtrend has been broken. That occurred right there. It then retested the moving average, ran up, spiked up, took out resistance here, and as well as the gap. I think at this point, if it extends any further, we may very well see a test of the $15 range, my short-term target. Big day for Etsy as well, jumping another 85 cents or almost 7.2%. But over the last 3 days or a couple days, you can see how it consolidated and exploded near the top of the channel and ladder of resistance. If we are going to get a further move up, then I would look for something up around the 16, 16.5 zone short term. Hudson, HDSN. Well, a nice little snapback out of the falling wedge today. The swing trade looks like it's on its way. And after hours announced a beautiful report. It's trading up around 560, 65, about 40 cents higher. If we can get the spike, recent spike at 563 taken out, and it's right there, we could very well move this even further. And the long-term target now, or the intermediate target, I would say, it's going to be 8 with a short-term target, 6.5. ININ, big move. In the last 3 days, it's gone from the, let's call it 43 range to 58.5, so 15 points. We're also in a resistance zone both laterally and top of the channel wide side. Be careful here. Look for a setup in the next several days that maybe sends this one into the mid-60s. There's 18 days to cover on this one. Mallinckrodt had a big day today as well, up 954 or 14%. It traded 7 million. Broke out of the base pattern here, but did not take out the December highs. That we'll be watching tomorrow at about 77.5. If it punches through that, I would not be shocked to see this make a run on 85 and 90. 7.5 days to cover on that one. Soda, a big day for soda. It popped for sure on an earnings report, going up about 4 points or 16%. It traded 3.8 million. And you can see that the angle of ascent on this rising channel has been broken. So is lateral resistance, and the gap has been filled. At this point, I would have to say the possibilities exist. They were in a new long-term up move, and I'm going to give you a target at 35 on this one. 6.5 days to cover on that. SSTK, one of our swing trades from back in here, has done very well and continues to move. After specking up to my target and pulling back for 3 days, I got very quiet on 2 inside days. Now it's moving back up. Watch resistance at 57.80, 58 for a move that could take this conceivably to the 63 and then 70 zone. 6.2 days to cover. And how about that little SUNW? Popping another 30, what was it today? Up 21 cents or 7%. A hefty 680,000, and the stock is really getting a surge in OBV. First time in more than a year and a half, the stock has broken its declining tops line and lateral price resistance, making higher highs and higher lows. Next target is about the 343 range. We could get there early tomorrow. And then I'm looking at a test of 385. That's my real short-term target. Beyond that, I can see the stock making a move up towards 4.5, maybe 5. TDLC looking very good, about to maybe pop out of a 2-week coil. Volume increased a little bit, stock popped 44 cents. It looks like it's about to go. My targets are 20, 21, and then 24.5. There's 9.6 days to cover that beauty. Speaking of beauties, Xencor base breakout pop coil, and today moving up a little bit after hours. Our good report. It's trading upwards of 20 and a half, 21, up from 19.28, and that constitutes the breakout I'm looking for. I now think we got a shot at getting this stock into the mid-20s, up near 25. And lastly, on the long side, XTLY has just been a monster. From mid-February's low around 4.5, the stock has rocketed to 14.5. And today, spiking up and through this coil, looks to me like it's headed higher. I would look for about 18 on the stock short term. Let's take a look at the box of short side. It's been a while since we did that. Starting with Allegiant. Now, I recently put this on my list because of the massive head and shoulder type rollover. And then I saw this bear coil. Well, that broke this week as it dropped 3 days in a row. And it's at the bottom of what looks like a channel. But if this channel accelerates and the next support is tested, we may very well see another 15 points down there, 108. And if that breaks, ultimately mid-80s. Cray. Well, Cray, I was pointing out this weekend the head and shoulders top and the 2 wedges. Today it came down, dropping as low as 30 before bouncing to 31.28, but it looks like the overall structure is set up for a 5th wave down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th wave down. Could fill that gap, could take you all the way down towards 22.5. 31.28 last. Foot Locker. Well, after we made a nice swing short here, coming down from 62 to 51, it subsequently bounced back up to retest the declining top line and moving averages. Today dropping back $1.40. I think we finished the wedge, the rising wedge. Looking for a test of the lows around 51.2 and then 47. G3 Apparel Group, GII, it's also broke a major up channel, formed a wedge and broke down, then bounced to the channel top and came off very sharply. Looks to me like a top's been completed. We could see the stock in the 31.32 zone, shorter term. Hormel Foods, head and shoulders top, rising wedge, breakdown flag. Looks like it's ready to take another step lower and take it down to 29.30. L Brands. That worked out very well when it cracked here and we saw a bear flag, put a short on it. That's That dropped about 25 points in about 3-4 weeks right there. 3-wave corrective rising to resistance. Now waiting for the next leg down that could conceivably take this in the low to mid 50s. MIK, a recent box of swing short, looking pretty negative. Today dropped another 87 cents at 3.3%. It's right on support. If it cracks here, 24, 22, and even 20 are possibilities. Royal Caribbean, boy, this got hammered today, down 509 or 7%, cracking everything except the February, July bottoms, which I believe will be tested here. Around 65 up next, and get through that. Then we're looking at a big drop, all the way down to the mid-50s at least. Red Robin Gourmet Burgers getting hit for another $2 today, or 4%. It's right on support. Feels like this is going to crack. Looking for a test of 40, 41. It may get down into the high 30s. SIG bear flag may be cracking. This tops in. The declining channels in play. Looking for a move to 73 and then 65. Stamps.com actually up on the session, I believe. No, down 1%. This bear flag may be completed, and if it cracks here, I'm looking for a move into the 60 range. Gentherm, a new one I put on the list this weekend. You can see why. Here's a weekly. And a 2-day. Looks like a massive top. Right at the neckline. If this breaks here, this could come down very hard to 23.4. Team Health, TMH. Broke here, rising wedge there. New channel in play, right on the precipice of a breakdown. Dropped 228 or 5.6%. It looks like it may have taken out this double bottom. If that's the case, you can see the bid and ask is weak. I'm looking at a stock in the mid-20s. And lastly, Western Digital, after a massive top formation here and then a breakdown, finally formed a big wedge. I'm not so sure it's finished though. Looking at the long-term chart, we may be in for a run down towards 25 or even as low as 22. That's my big next target zone down here. And that's the long and short of it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.